guys, what's up? Bart coming at you today in Magic Arena, and today we're playing Orzhov Vampires, and this is a tribal deck that I really wanted to play for some time, and we've got Historic Open I think 1 month ago, and I want to show you some of the best games that I had with this deck during that event. I really love vampires and I wanted to play it, especially to try and maybe craft it. I realized though that, as we can see here, we have goblins, and goblins are really better in the terms that they have better enablers, they have better things to do on the end of the game. For example, they decided to block my vampire and lose their Spirit Prospectorate because they had another. But still, I don't know if that was a good play from their part. I'm using this new vampire from Zendikar Rising, and I think that the most busted things that we can do with this deck, and they are good but they are not so busted as you can think, are first go for Soaring -3 and get that vampire that draws, I think, 3 cards. No, I'm sorry. He draws X cards, where X is the number of vampires that you have on the battlefield. And Advent Vanguard is a pretty good creature, because it can attack for 3 damage and it has this pay for life to get indestructible. Opponent is on this goblin deck that has a little bit of removal maybe, but has this Chandra to be able to cast the Muxus. And if and when we see Muxus, we're probably dead. We do gain a little bit of life in here, but we're just gonna try to do what we can. And I was talking about the 2 most busted things that this deck can do, and draw a lot of cards with Soaring turn 3 into a vampire. And the other thing is flip Legion's Landing. When you flip Legion's Landing, that becomes a land that can create some creatures, but it's still not so great. So after that, I tried the combo of whenever you gain life, opponent loses life, and the enchantment Inquisitive Blood, I think is the name of the enchantment. Because I thought, okay, if Muxus is the goblins' gameplay to beat the end of the game, what can we do on the end of the game? And the combo would beat something. In here you see that I make this poor choice of attacking with 3 of them just to flip my Legion's Landing, and then I have to lose my creature. That was pretty poor. I should have plussed Sorin first. But anyways, probably at this point I was thinking, I already lost. It's a Goblins deck, it's a Muxus deck. But they didn't come with a great hand. They want to attack Serene here. I'm fine, I have another, and I can still take some advantage of the one that is on the battlefield. so it's better for me to create another vampire. It has lifelink, I can attack for a lot. I should have gone for the lifelink on the 2-3 maybe, unless I'm not going to attack with it, but I think I should have attacked with it. It would have been like... I am going to attack with it, okay. So it would have been 4 damage of lifelink. Anyway, opponent is in a bad shape because we got to go well with this Vampires deck. And mostly because they did not have a great hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that the maximum mana that they can generate is 5. So I'm already considering saying good game in here. And it is a good game. I mean, one of our creatures that goes through and they are dead. They have Crinkle, so I just go and I destroy the thing that it gives haste before Crinkle enters the battlefield. And there it is. I still would have this Lord. The thing is that Goblins deck have like 2 or 3 Lords. 2 I'm sure they have. I think they have a 3rd one that is a little bit more expensive. And our Lord is... I think we just have 1. So that's the difference. Let's go for the next match. And this was, I think, that pretty lucky. Opponent decided to throw Skirk Prospector turn 1 into this graveyard. I was okay with that. And then he decided, I mean, he kept a hand that probably wasn't the best. We made one bad decision, but still, we had a good game. Now this hand is not so great that we kept. I am trying pathways, as you can see in here. If I'm not mistaken, I'm using 4 of the shocklands for pathways, and then maybe 1 or 2 checklands. I don't want them to enter tapped. Maybe I'm not even using them. Here I'm debating if I should go double black or double white as a source. Okay, so I go for the 2-2 because Adento Vanguard could not block and be alive. So what I decided was like, okay, if you want to attack me, I'm going to block. You still have 2 mana. And at this point, if I don't draw a land, that's pretty bad. So that's the kind of... Okay, they have Bloodchief's Thirst. When you're playing these aggro decks, you might want some removal that are either... I'm gonna go Soaring into the Vampire. This is one of the most busted things that I talked about. But the thing is that in here... Okay, so I'm going for the other Vampire, that's better. In here, going for Champion of Dusk is just like draw 1 card and lose 1 life. It's generally better to draw 3 or 4 cards when you can. And opponent's playing some kind of mono black vampires maybe, or mono black aggro probably. And they have a lot of destruction. Oh, I was talking about the removal that you want to have in your aggro deck. So when you go for an aggro deck, I think that what you should be aiming for is you either go for removal that are cheap, so that you can keep a tempo. What does this mean? You go, for example, for... What is the name of that card? Fatal Push. Fatal Push is cheap, and you can do, for example, 1 turn 3, a 2 mana creature, and 1 Fatal Push, so that's a good balance. Bloodchief's Thirst, for example, is a good card in their deck, and they have a lot of removal. So they're basically removal and and one creature, and they're making a beating on us. So I'm looking at my graveyard because Ajani can bring back a creature. I think I'm not gonna go for Ajani because I can make some blockers that will be able to protect him. And in these kind of matches, when you're playing this deck, what you should be aiming for is to get value of these planeswalkers. They could have another Bloodchief's Thirst, but hey, we gotta do it next turn. Knight can attack and then it could grow. We could pay for life for it to not attack our face in here, but the thing is that we have to pay the for life and opponent doesn't need to pay for the mana, so it's like, okay, if we pay for the life when they attack, then they can say, okay, you paid for life, for me that's fine. I'm going to get my counter still, +1/+1 counter, and then I'm just gonna go for another creature. So in the mirror, Advent Vanguard is not so great. An opponent is gonna go for a Drana. Drana has first strike, and when it hits me, it's gonna give a +1/+1 counter for each attacking creature. That's pretty interesting, and opponent seems to have another removal. They are reading Legion's Landing, which says that when we attack with 3 creatures, we flip it. And now we draw our own Drana, and I'm thinking, okay, I could go Ajani, put +1/+1 counters. That would still not get Drana from attacking. She's flying. Or we could get something out of the graveyard and grow our creatures, but even then our attack is not great. So probably I go Drana in here because it can block their Drana, and if they want to attack with the Knight of the Ebon Legion, I might double block. Yep, so that's it, I go for Drana. It's an interesting card, it's good, but it's interesting that it has the first strike, so it attacks. When it deals the damage, the creatures that are attacking and that doesn't have the first strike, they're gonna get +1/+1 counters. But it's a little bit worried about Legion's Landing. I think that Legion's Landing is very nice and it can be very powerful on the mid game, but I don't know if opponents should be so concerned about that. An opponent goes for Twilight Prophet. Okay, at the beginning of his upkeep, if he has the City's Blessing, he's gonna reveal a card and he's going to make me lose X life, where X is the CMC of that card. Okay. Opponent has 7, 8 permanents, and they're just gonna pass. So now I draw another land, and this is something that I went through a lot. Like, it doesn't replenish so well your own things. Am I going to attack? I don't remember. I think I shouldn't. Probably I'm going to attack because I was like, ooh, flipping Legion's Landing. Okay, I didn't attack. So this Ajani can get some things going, but if they can have the City's Blessing, that's kind of bad for us. I mean, probably they are going to actually see a lot of cards that has CMC 1 and 2, 3 with the Twilight Prophet, but that still hurts a little bit. If they attack, now my Drana that has first strike is in a great shape to block their Drana, But if they attack for that, then that's harder. So I'm probably gonna chump block. Yeah, that was a smart decision in my opinion. Because chump blocking in here is like we get 1 life. Oh no, we're gonna keep the 3 creatures. That gets a counter, but still. Opponent has to pay the mana so that doesn't die. And we can pay the life, so we paid 4 life so that they would tap 3 lands. We're gonna still have our board. Board presence is always one of the most important things when you're talking about mirror between aggro matchups. An opponent has a lot of things that have flying and the city's blessing now. So you get this vampire lord. It's pretty nice. But with which... But can I attack? Do I need to go for more value from my Ajani? Do I -2 Ajani, get another creature in the board? If I -2, then I should have done that first, in case I draw some kind of removal. But I think that my only removal is one that has lifelink. What's the name? Oath of Kaya. I decided to give a +1/+1 counter to my token, and that's possibly because of Heartless Act. But I am thinking about attacking at some point. Maybe that's why I put... Okay, I attacked with everything. Flip Legion's Landing. Now let's see how they block. Because now I have this token with lifelink. And I'm probably thinking like, okay, do you want to attack Ajani? Maybe I just lose it. Do you want to attack my face? Maybe I have to jump block. I don't know if this attack was great, but we can benefit through it. Opponent's thinking. I think that the best blocks they could do... They have 13 damage going through and we heal for 3. They have a 2/3 creature that is not gonna gain life so soon, so... Oh, maybe with the Prophet. So they make just one block. My teams get a counter because the runner went through. Maybe opponent didn't realize that. And then they lose their creature. So I am gonna go for the land. For a little bit of time I was thinking that the cost of my mana to create vampires was 3, and then I realized that it was 4. I think that at this point I had realized already. And so that's it. They were mono black, destroy and get some creatures. Okay, and already we're in here for another match against Wetty Coffin. Okay, we do have checklands, probably just 2 of and 4 of pathways. I don't know, maybe. In here we go for the checkland, and maybe the creature that I don't value so much, the Legion Zealot. I might not. I'm really thinking in here, but yeah, I think that this is the best thing we can do. We draw a card if they want to Bone Crusher, Giant that, I don't know. Oh, that was an Evolve in a while, so they release it, another land. I don't think that there are a lot of MDFCs in Zendikar Rising that are great in a Vampires deck, maybe some kind of protections, but we don't have a Vampire. So in here there are two things. I could go wide, go for the 1 mana creature and a 2 mana creature. That's interesting. But if they have any kind of wrath, then we're in a really bad spot. Or you could just do 1 creature, attack, stay a little bit behind, maybe go for Serene into Sanctum Seeker is kind of okay as well. Sanctum Seeker will be better next turn, but I do go for Serena right now. Opponent might have counter. No, opponent doesn't counter. And we go for Sanctum Seeker right now. The reason that I said that Sanctum Seeker would be better next turn is that we would have 3 creatures attacking, I think. And they do bounce the Seeker. Okay. So that was kind of a good play for them, I think. They're on Jeskai. And they go for Fabled Passage. Maybe they could be 4 colors, but that would be a weird mana base or weird draws. So we're going for Cleric of Life's Bond, I think. If opponent says that's okay for him. Oh! And he Mystical Disputes it. Okay. Mystical Dispute main deck in this kind of event. I'm okay with that. And then I'm going wide. Now I'm going wide. And Sanctum Seeker, it drains your opponent whenever it sees you. I'm kind of tilted that opponent's taking their time, I think. I was really a little bit tired and just trying to play my best this day. So they crack the Fabled Passage. They do have a lot of Fabled Passage, Evolving Wilds, yeah. That was a landfall deck. That was what looks like a standard deck in a historic event. And I'm going Sanctum Seeker. I could go for the Lieutenant, but Sanctum is going to get me a lot of I'm sorry. He's going to get me a lot of life drain. And now if opponent has a Wrath, for example Storm's Wrath, and if they have the red mana, that would end the game. He would win. He's saying good game now for his part, and he says that's it. So we went a little bit aggressive, but it's like on turn 1, 2, this deck is not so aggressive. On turns 3 to 5 it's a little bit aggressive, and then it loses the gas that it has. Okay, so let's go for the next. So there it is, our removal of Oath of Kaya. It only has a little bit of synergies, and with Clerics of Life Bond, I think that's it. This is a keepable hand. We do need lands, but that's fine, I think. Oh, we did mulligan once. Is that it? Oh no, we did not. I was reading the mulligan description. So what was I thinking? Maybe that Scar Marcher is better on the longer game. Adanto is fine, and Dusk Legion Zealot can find us land drops, maybe. Can find us, maybe, right? And then we have a Lord for when our creatures are on the battlefield. Oath of Kaya is good, but I don't think... I think that Oath of Kaya has only one... How do you say it? One synergy in the deck, that is the two mana vampire. So we do have a lot of vampires that are kind of good in terms of attacking and going for aggressive as a deck. But as synergies, this deck is not taking these synergies so well of being a vampire deck and just going for life drain and life drain and life drain. So maybe if there is another event, I'm going to try to do something like that. A little bit more everything has kind of life gain with one or two great creatures like the Lord or Knight of Ebon Legion. Here opponent attacks, and I think that this is a good block. Is there something I'm missing? I don't think so. That only makes creatures counterable. I do look for Oath of Kaya, and I decide not to... block. That is not like the best creature that they're gonna have for the long run. Maybe I should have attacked, maybe not. There's gonna be bigger elves. So if I had double blocked now, it would be even worse than the block that we didn't do. And we gained 3 life with Oath of Kaya, so it's like we're not in the best spot in here. And we kind of can attack with both. We still keep behind. Probably I was thinking like, okay, I'm on the draw. Opponent started a little bit aggressive. I have to stay behind. Maybe I shouldn't stay behind at the last turn. But let's see how that goes. I'm gonna go plains into Ajani, or I could go for double creatures. I think Ajani would have been a nice play. Start plussing him now. It still seems like opponent didn't have great attacks against him. Another Lord for their part. So I think that what we see now in Historic is that elves and goblins, they are great. Okay, so I'm just gonna lose one of my creatures to destroy one of those. It seems like a fine trade. So the tribal decks that are better in Historic right now are elves or goblins. And the ones that I love the most are vampires and merfolks. So I still gotta play merfolks. I'll go for Ajani. I can get that creature back. Maybe, yeah. I'm gonna go for +1/+1 counters. It seems like a good play. They're not gonna have so much removal for the Lord. That's probably why I put the +1/+1 counter on the other card. Because I don't want to block with the Lord, so I just leave it be. Sometimes I just forget some of the creatures that are also elves. These Growth Chamber Guardians saw a lot of play back in the days. have Champion of the Dusk and 6 mana. Am I gonna bring a creature first? I don't think so. Could play him, draw 4 cards, lose a lot of life, try to get a little bit of life in by attacking. Oh no, this isn't Serene. I was thinking about giving... so we do take a lot of life loss in here, but still we're okay with that. I should go okay, so I go for those two. Am I attacking? It seems like an attack, but it's not a great attack, is it? Not with our Lord. So I'm just attacking on the air, and they're creating their tokens, and that's it. They have a lot of elves, so this can go bad for us pretty quickly. Ajuru Paragon can cast for 2. This is an elf. He could go and grab Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, Wizards. They have warriors. They do have warriors, 2 of them. Wow. So this is a good card in the elves deck, right? Lenore elves, elf 3. Do they attack? They don't attack. Okay, I have a creature that is on the air and attacking. I have another removal in here. That seems great. We can take 1 Lord. Probably the one that creates other creatures. I'm already aiming at that, like, opponent. This is what I'm gonna get. Average Chancellor doesn't do a lot. Come on, opponent. And yeah, I go for the Lord. So going to tap it, create another token. They have 7 creatures. Although our creatures are great, we can bring only a Dusk Legion Zealot. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to pump 2 of my creatures. Probably the one that is attacking on the air. No? No, I decide not to. I decide to give my cards that are on the ground a little bit of a better blocking. That's fine. So I can attack with the Zealot that is flying. I'm even going to attack with a Dent of Vanguard. Maybe I shouldn't. Oh yeah, I don't attack because you can trade that on tokens, or like trade damage on my face for those tokens. Doesn't seem so great. And then I'm fine with losing some creatures to chump blocks like this Dusk Legion Zealot. Is that it? Zealot. Okay, so opponent has 4 mana. They're tapping manually just because, I mean, which forest does he need? He wants to tap, right? I think that they have either that Creator Hoof, something big, and they're like, oh, if I had another land. We go for another Lord. They still have 1, 2, 3 mana. I think it's 3 mana. And they are going to attack. Okay, they attack with 1 creature. They take some damage because of that. Cleric of Life's Bond love to see that. We could just jump. I'm putting my... Oh, okay, I saw it wrong. I saw it like, yeah, now I remember. I put my lord wrongly in there. If I can take their creature for the cost of 4 life, we already won 2 life with Oath of Kaya. We keep Ajani, we keep our creatures and everything. I think that's fine. We find Sorin, that's nice. I think that at this point it doesn't matter what kind of side I go for. We can get the emblem for Ajani. Probably I'm going to attack first. I think that the emblem is by the end of the turn. I do give lifelink to a vampire. I could go for a Dante's Vanguard if I have to pay life. He's going to get that life back. Maybe. Because else we could destroy that lord. I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to destroy one of the lords, then we have a lot of big creatures attacking, and they have kind of a hard block to do, which then leads to our creature that has flying attacking for lethal next turn, maybe. Okay, they take 1 life because of that, that's fine. Then they take 4 of these. I have 13 life, but they can't survive with all of that with all of those creatures. What they should think is, do I have a lord or can I draw a lord? Can I win the back pit with a lord? They are losing 1 visionary, 1 token, 2 tokens, and my lord is going to trade there. And then I just go for the emblem. That is a good emblem. I create 3 cats with lifelink, block, block, block. Gain life, gain life, gain life. My creature that has flying just takes them. So yeah, we even won against elves. That's fine. That's really nice. It's a fun deck. It is really fun to play vampires. I do think that to get a little bit of more of the feeling of a vampires deck, we need more life gain and this kind of, we pay life and then we gain life. That's one of the most interesting things in these decks. We're gonna go for Zealot, draw a card, try to find the 3rd land drop. They have Blast Zone, that's kind of something that I need to play around. But it says hello, because I said hello. Grab a leg. Okay, that seems like colorless ramp. We can go Sorin into Champion of Dusk. This is kind of the play we were talking about. This is kind of one of the best plays that we can do. Maybe it would be better if on turn 2 we had gone for something that creates vampires. There is something like that, right? Is it 2 mana CMC? I don't remember. Okay, they go for that Myrrh. We have 4 mana, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we go for Legion Lieutenant in order to grow even our 1/1. And we can attack with everything in here. I'm even just gonna drop the other creatures, so I think. So that was a good turn, but does opponent have removal, global removal? I'm already aiming at a good game. I see that they don't have a black source, they don't have a white source. Go for Forsaken Monument, they have 2 mana, they not going to do anything. Yep, and that's it. So this was the most fast start that we could have. And now we're going to show the deck and talk a little bit of how it was. Okay, yeah, we're here back, and we're here to show you the deck and talk a little bit about some general things. So first thing that I'm going to show you is the deck. As you can see, I don't have a lot of the cards, and that is what I love in these historic events. So first thing, when there is one historic event or standard event where all the cards are open and you can play anything, don't try to go and overrun a lot of decks. Stick with 1 to 5 decks. That's better. I've tried to make a list of a lot of decks that I wanted to run on the other events in the past. And then I said, okay, I want to go and I want to play all of these. But the thing is that playing only one game with one deck is just not enough. You need to feel the deck. Do you like it? Is it worthy, you know? And in the past, I did that of trying to play one game with each of the decks that I wanted to know a little bit more, and I just felt frustrated afterwards because I didn't play with the much that I wanted to play with each deck. So that's why in this case I went for vampires. I said, okay, this is like the next thing that I want to play in historic, the next deck that I want to craft. But is it good? Is it viable? Mostly viable, because I am quite competitive. So let's show you the deck. We have 3 Legions landing. Just because it's legendary, it's great to have one of them or maybe 2 of them on at the beginning of the game, but uh, not a lot. You know, it's legendary, you can't go for one of them when the other is in your hand, you know. And then we have actually 4, 8, 9, 10, 13 1-drops, so that's a lot of 1-drops. We do want to go kind of wide, although in our games it didn't appear. We did kind of go wide, but it didn't appear so much wide, probably because we don't create so many tokens. But we have this, which is a great vampire. Is a 2/1 for 1 mana. It's a vampire and it can get flying. That's great. We have Knight of the Ebon Legion. It can grow, it can kill, it can do anything, and it's great with Adento Vanguard. Sometimes you just want to pay the for life to make this grow. That's how things work. We have Vicious Conquistador. So this is a little bit of a filler. Like, I think that I needed more 1-drops, and this is a decent one. Whenever it attacks, your opponent loses life. We love to see your opponent losing life. And it's really vampire thing, you know? It drains. Not drains because we don't get that life, but you got it. And then we have Adento Vanguard. It's a great creature. It's a small creature. It's really bad to block with this. This is the worst blocker that I can think of. But when you're on the play, this is one of the best creatures you can have on turn 2. It's a 3/1 attacking. You can give it indestructible, and it's nice with this deck. We have Dusk Legion Zealot. This is just mostly to draw cards and keep getting the pace, getting that third or fourth land drop to do the things that we want to do on curve, because we need that. We have Cleric of Life's Bond. Whenever we gain life, you put a +1/+1 counter. You gain life for the first time each turn, so it benefits from life gain, although we don't have a lot in this particular deck build. We have a Lord, 2 mana 2/2. Other vampires get +1/+1. This is great and even better in multiples. We went for 2 Oath of Kaya. Gains life, removes, and we have some planeswalkers, so it's nice to also drain our opponent when they are attacking our planeswalkers. Mortify is just versatile. It is an instant, destroys creature or enchantment. We know that there are some enchantments that are kind of hard to accept that they exist. And then we have Drana. Drana is a great card. We have a 1-of because it's legendary. I didn't want a lot of them, and 1 attacking is already what we might need. So as you can see, I did want more of 1 and 2 drops. And we have Sorin. And Sorin is in here to enable us to go for Champion of Dusk and Sanctum Seeker, or Sanctum Seeker, it depends. Champion of Dusk draws a lot of cards if we have a lot of vampires in the battlefield, and Sanctum Seeker drains a lot when we attack with a lot of vampires. Ajani is also great. +1 is great, -2 is great. If we happen to ultimate this, it's also great. So that's really nice. And that was the deck. We had 22 lands. We could have a little bit less of lands in this kind of deck. The things that we want the third land, so going for 20 could be a little bit too little, I don't know. Anyway, we went for 2 checklands, so we have a lot of things that can enable the checklands, but Pathway doesn't. We have 4 of them. And we even went for 1 Castle Locthwain, which I didn't see, but I think it would be a good card. And yeah, this was the deck that we did. Oh, there was also something that I tried, but I didn't get some great games with it. That was a little bit more like Vampires version 2 edit. It was a little bit more trying to get value by the end game. And we had this Exquisite Blood. I think I said another name during the gameplay. But it's an enchantment, 5 life. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. And then of course we have the combo, we have Veto. Veto says that whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So all we need to do after these 2 are on the battlefield is to gain life, or to make opponent lose life. So if let's say it's 1 life. If opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. If you gain 1 life, opponent loses 1 life. Opponent loses 1 life. So they are recursive. When you get to get this combo going, it's just a loop, and you just win the game. And yeah, that's it. What did we change? We went for 1 more Oath of Kaya because we want life gain. We kept 2 of these. And we said goodbye to some Knights, I think, to go for 1 more Legion's Landing because it generates a creature with lifelink. I think that's it. So I changed some things. I wanted more card draw. The thing is that I had already played a lot during the day, so I just played like 2 or 3 things with this. It was okay, but I don't think it was great. So some things that we still need to say. First one, if I'm gonna craft a Vampire's deck, is this the one that I'm going to craft? And I don't think so, but I still want to see. there are some things going. For example, by the middle of the year, I think that it's around July, we're gonna get this set where we're gonna have werewolves and vampires, and if we get some other vampires, I think that we can see a really nice deck going on in here. What you need is something like Muxus, something that is busted. As we said, our busted things to do are soaring into champion, or I don't know, Knight with Ardent Vanguard. It's not so busted, it's not busted at all. It's not a Muxus. But we need something that can be really great in a Vampires deck. And we need enablers. I think that the best or the good enablers that we have are Legion's Landing. And that's it, because that ramps us a bit, you know. So let's see Vampires to see what could we change about things we have or do not have. I think that maybe if we have a 2-mana instant that creates some vampires, that would be nice. Do we have it? No, we do not have it. We only have it as a 4-mana. I think we only have it as a 4-mana thing. Let's see on black. No, we don't. This is a good one. You can go for it. Death Touch Lifelink. You do have to pay double black. It's not that bad. You kind of can a lot of times. But maybe you should play some Fabled Passage if you want to play that. And other things, I don't know. Because there are chances you're not going to put that on the battlefield on turn 2. But even if you don't, you have other things to play, so I think this is a fine vampire to go for. Maybe I would. We have some recursive things. This one is good if we have something that is more focused on life gain. And what else can we do? We already have Sorin. Okay, let's go. Let's see the card that I was talking about. What is this? Okay. So the card I was talking about was this one. 4 mana, create 3 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink. That's good, but it's a sorcery. That's the thing. It's a sorcery. It doesn't have haste, anything. Yeah, not so great. I wanted something with lifelink. This makes our Planeswalkers have lifelink, so what would that make? That would make Sorin hit for 3 with lifelink. When you do, Sorin deals 3 damage on target, so he would deal damage with lifelink. Not so much. The +2 on this Sorin is not so great as well. The -X is the good part. We can maybe -X twice, so I don't know if this Sorin is so great. We do have this nice artwork with the glass thing, you know, like it was a church glass. I don't know what's the name of this. Anyway, that doesn't care so much. And there is also this. We have it on the sideboard, Vona, but we don't use sideboard on these events. And then you can tap, pay 7 life, and destroy a non-land permanent. That's interesting. Interesting, but not so great. Maybe you should say exile. Anyway, not so great. But yeah, I think that is it. That's the best things we can have. Generally, when you want to go for this kind of aggro deck, you want it to be pretty low. Yep, that's it. So if you like it, please give your thumbs up, give me a like, subscribe to the channel. And I've also changed my microphone. I was using this. I was using this mic, and then I decided, okay, let's do a little bit of a test. And I tested my webcam's microphone, And it's better than that. That thing stays in here, and it was really worse. So if the audio quality got better, please tell me. And that was it. Thank you, and I'm sorry for this long outro. Thank you. Goodbye.